Sixx Sense with Nikki Sixx.
So the album came out last week, right? How do you feel about this one? How do you feel walking away, knowing it's out there, you know, the product that you worked so hard on is now in front of everybody? Do you feel secure and comfortable and excited?
You know, I don't want to speak for the whole band, really. Personally, I think we're more proud of this record than anything we've ever done. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Frankie? It's
sure
difficult when bands kind of like go out and promote their album. It's kind of, you get the same spiel, don't you? It's like, oh yeah, fucking our best album yet. It's like, well, whatever. But I think personally, I just think it's the first record we've made that I've actually listened to immediately after and really enjoy. And this is the only album, unfortunately, that I've started reading the reviews of. I never used to give a fuck.
Is that dangerous for you?
Am I swearing too much for you?
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. No, I never used to give a flying fuck about the reviews. And for some reason now I do. And they've been brilliant apart from one.
Yeah.
That one
very
has given me like sleepless nights.
It gives you a complex sometimes. But
weird.
that's why you're supposed to not, look at the reviews.
You're not supposed to care, are you?
Yeah.
But I think we've really tapped into our... we've mainlined into some great stuff, I think, and we've finally kind of got there.
We've also mainlined into the right-wing press, which is unusual. The thing is, I think with press, I think most of it is editorial, is to do with who they think that they're kind of reaching out to. So it comes from advertisers, really, doesn't it? So, for example, the right-wing press is probably because two of the bands are in the 40s now, and we're seen as... people get more right-wing as they get older, more establishment. So we're being accepted by them too, which is quite strange. Any good press is welcome, but it is quite odd to see the change in the way in which we were perceived and feted by different kind of people 10, 12 years ago.
I think as well, like looking at the album and previous albums, I mean, kind of bands tend to sort of look at the press and the critics and use that as a barometer of like their failure, almost. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're not successful as you used to be, or you're not selling as many records. Well, no one is really, but
right.
And it's always just like you can always beat them with like this or that for your own failings, and. So when you ask about the album and how you feel about it, sometimes I listen to the album and I feel a bit of disappointment because I know that the last two albums that we've made have been nowhere near this one.
Right.
And kind of think, oh God, why didn't we just fucking get our shit together?
You had to go through those to get here.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, that's not you don't want to devalue your own catalogue because there were some great moments on those records, but it's nothing like this. This is like...
It's why we indulged ourselves and allowed ourselves a lot of writing time. And we went to Ibiza in Spain and the southwest of Ireland, a place called Valencia. Valencia Island, the most westerly harbour of mainland Europe. And it's also where they laid the transatlantic cable from Europe to New York. So that's how people send telegraphs.
We were going to call the album "Laying Cable," but that's probably not a good idea.
What was writing like for this album? I mean, I know it took a little while, but did you guys come to the table with everything finished, or do you bring separate ideas to the plate and then finish them?
Well, as Frankie said, we had this thing where we took a year out to write this record. The worrying thing is what we do in the future, really, because the first album, which was really good, and this album that I think is really good, if not better, they both spent a long time writing those records. So but really that doesn't really work in our business model, or a lot of bands' business models these days. You expect it just to keep it coming.
Right.
You've got to be ever present, otherwise you're making a comeback the whole time. It's like so draining on your social numbers. But but this is a pretty special way of doing it. We wanted to be inspired, so we kind of went to sort of far out places to write, and it was entirely a group effort. We had this thing where we would stick it's called Bono, we called it Bonoing, didn't we?
Yeah, we called it Bonoing, where we stick a mic, because I read an interview where Bono talked about how he emotes over tracks, and then he goes in the next stream and listens back to like mumblings, and of course then, when you're listening to music in the next stream, you imagine actual fully formed words and phrases because they're coming from your subconscious. So I think a lot of the album, not the two historical tracks, but the rest of them, I think there was a lot of emoting going on, which people wouldn't expect from a band like The Darkness. But of course, Justin garnished everything with his humour on certain tracks. But a lot of it is emotion. There's a lot of defiance on the album, personal songs, and the Bonoing thing was quite important.
So you guys would literally hum, kind of.
Well, we'd have like at this point there would be a backing track,
Okay.
like riffs.
So you have the music done first.
Well, yeah. I mean, it all kind of happens at the same time. Sometimes getting the vocals and the lyrics over the finishing line can prove quite difficult, So at that point, it's kind of opened out to the floor, isn't it? Right. So we do some Bonoing.
Yeah.
And
then we circle around the microphone.
Like sharks.
Kind of like sharks. Yeah. And then the vibe is that you don't really approach the mic until you've got like an urge, like something really instinctive and powerful that's coming from within. And then we kind of attack the mic, and then
You sound like Breaking Wind.
And it's scary because a lot of time it opens yourself up to like ridicule. But of course, that's what I think our distinguishing trait as a band is, that ridicule is nothing to be scared of.
What a creative process! I don't think I've ever heard of something like that. That's incredible.
It's something to behold. It really is, because the music's playing in the room really, really loud. As loud as you can get it. There's a mic in the middle. Us three might even be in the next door. It's so loud.
Yeah.
Like the next door, in the kitchen or something, if we're writing in the lounge, and we're all just listening, and then sometimes all three people will get an idea at the same time, and it's like a scuffle, like elbowing each other out, and then you finally get onto the mic in time, and then sometimes it's at that exact moment you realise what you're about to come out with is complete shit.
Well, I guess the one thing we all agree on is that modern music, pop for sure, pop's always been contrived, but modern rock music too feels very contrived to us. So that's one thing, that's the most important thing that we try to avoid.
The record is a fun listen. I mean, you feel the emotions and you go through it, and it's you. So you know what you think you're expecting, and you get that piece of what you love from The Darkness, but it's a fun record to listen to, and I don't want people to underestimate how fun it is to be a part of that of this album specifically, because it's kind of a journey,
I agree with that. I think there's a sense of urgency there, isn't there? But it's not like just clob them around the head again and again. It's more like, well, it's much like this platter of food here.
It really is.
Isn't it?
I think I did well ordering that, by the way. It's very pretty.
That's fucking amazing. What is it?
It's a vegetable board. I don't know. I said okay.
Yeah. So so basically, much like this platter of food here.
It really is,
it
though.
I
mean,
it really is actually,
as ridiculous as that sounds, that's what the record is to me.
It is.
It's great. It's tasteful, and it's fun, and it's cute, and.
But ultimately, it's going to leave you hungry and slightly overweight at the same time.
How about the Gherkins? What do the Gherkins represent?
These are the four peni of the band.
That's right. Plural penis is
I've
peni.
touched that one. I should probably eat that now.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
No, put it in your mouth.
Put this green peni in my mouth. You're asking me to do that.
Yes, you have to. Is it disgusting?
So that's what it's like.
Like sucking off a frog. Funny enough, our new drummer is...
Speaking of sucking off frogs.
Speaking of sucking off frogs, our new drummer, biting off more than you can chew, is Rufus Taylor.
Did you say speaking of sucking off frogs? Now that is the greatest link of all time.
So Rufus has taken over from Emily Dolan Davis, who drummed on the album, which has led to, because we've had 3 different drummers in the last year, we've had lots of cheap kind of Spinal Tap gags, The taste being our appeal, be more selective, etc., etc.
Oh God, it's our own fault though, Frank. I mean, on the biog, we wrote that Ed departed the band in mysterious circumstances. I mean, we're asking for it. I mean, I don't know why we do that to ourselves sometimes. It was funny at the time.
The next album, I would imagine, will be dictated to slightly by, not more than slightly, by Rufus's drum sound. He's a very aggressive drummer. He hits the snare very hard and very purely.
Download Festival was supposed to be a surprise. You guys were supposed to play a surprise show, and it ended up getting released like 3 days early. Do things like that make you upset?
No, just irritated. We're looking for minimum effort, maximum effect, like everyone.
I just think when you play a surprise show, it should be a surprise, really, shouldn't it? You know?
Right, that's what you signed up for.
Yeah, it's like fucking hell. But never mind. I guess in a way, you always have to relate these things back to your own fans and how they would feel about it. And they would be happy to know that we were playing in case they missed it. So ultimately, we want to move our career forward. But sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But as long as you're keeping your fans happy, it doesn't really matter either way.
Now, things like festivals should be pretty exciting for you guys. Have they ever brought on any collaborations? Have you ever been on stage and it's been one of the most exciting things you've ever done?
Well,
with another band?
Depending on the way you look at it, when we played the Big Day Out festival in Australia, and we were on the same bill as Black Eyed Peas, and became quite chummy with those guys and girl. And they sort of stormed the stage once when we were playing I Believe in a Thing Called Love. And we did sort of I was going to say a mashup. It wasn't really. They were just sort of jumping around trying to put us off.
Which is what they do. I think that's their whole shtick anyway.
Yeah.
But then Brian May came on stage with us at Hammersmith Apollo, but not a festival. And we sometimes bring up people from the crowd into the stage. But the rule is they have to take the tops off. Or if they're female, just down to their brassieres or their sports bra, whichever it is. Yeah, I mean,
we insist on top half naked in the female department and bottom half in the men, and anything else you want to wear on each end is
what
just
are the
fine.
Females supposed to be excited about when a girl comes up and they take their shirts off and they're with you? Like, why can't we get a guy to come out and take? Why can't you guys take your pants off?
That's my point. I mean, we're not misogynist rockers, really.
Right.
We would really
You're equal opportunity nakeders.
We would be perfectly happy to see a load of cocks flailing in the
you
festival
and me both.
wind, and when guys kind of they're so people in certain bands may highlight the upper half of a they celebrate the female form from the top up
He's so politically
at a
correct.
gig, right?
Right.
Why not celebrate the bottom half of a man's agenda?
Right. In the studio, what's the vibe like for you guys? I mean, I know that you're going in and you're doing the whole Bono thing, but is it exciting for you or is it nerve-wracking to know that you're coming to the table and you have to make such a memorable album again? Is it nerve-wracking or are you just excited?
Well, we kick each other's asses a lot. It's a combination, slagging each other off quite a lot, taking the piss out of each other.
Yeah. Brutal.
And then when we're serious, kicking each other's asses.
Are you guys hard on each other?
We are, yeah. I mean, we have really bad arguments. A lot of people don't understand that how bad it gets sometimes. It's just difficult. I think we have a tendency as people just to go with the flow, not kick up a fuss. Just we want an easy life. But I think we've learned that that's not how we make good music together, really. So everyone is checking everyone else's contribution to see whether it's good enough, and everything has to go through the filter, and it can be so frustrating, and it takes so long. But once something has actually got through, really the three of our filters, Frank, Justin, and I, it's normally something that we'll stand up and play in front of anyone, and for years, and it's fine.
Does writing continue for you after this? I mean, I know we have a completed album in front of us,
writing
brand
now.
new. Are you?
We're always making notes, aren't we? You know, because
Yeah, we'd like the next album to come out next year. So
Oh gosh.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're going to take less time off this time and try a different kind of approach. And now we got Rufus. We want to get Rufus when he's hot, you know, and he's really on a good vibe at the moment. You know, he's introduced a great energy into the band, as you can see from our new press shots on our Facebook page.
All right. So what do we expect from you after this? Throughout the summer, next year, are you going U.S.? Can we see you in the U.S. at least?
we are definitely going to the US
Okay.
in October, I believe.
October for sure. We're playing a festival, Jack Black Festival. What's that one?
Jack Black has a festival?
He does, yeah. It's in LA. I think it's called Expo or something like that. Just keep talking, then I'll check out on my phone.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds
I
fun.
don't think we've released
I didn't even know
the
he
tour
had them.
dates yet, have we?
No, not the tour dates, but we do
But
have
that
the
one's-
Jack
that
Black
one's
thing's been
confirmed,
announced.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're basically we're coming there in October.
That's awesome. Are you
Yeah.
doing worldwide?
We will do, yeah. It's another one of those weird situations, isn't it? Like you finish the album, and then you launch the album, and then you don't fucking do anything because you're in the summer festival.
Yes, but
period.
at the same time, it's kind of exciting for us fans because we get to listen to the music,
Yeah,
learn the
that's-
music, you know.
That's
and
true, actually. I've been in that situation where you've just got the album,
And you
you're
go out and
just
you're like,
getting
why
used-
doesn't anybody know any of these songs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes, and people at the gig are a bit like, "Come on, play some old
Right,
stuff." Yeah,
right.
So,
this
you're
is
right.
beneficial.
Hey, I feel better about it already.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're playing the Festival Supreme. Saturday, the 10th of October. Jack Black Festival. Andrew WK, I think, is the compere. And there's a bunch of people like The Antwoord, The Kids in the Hall, never heard of them. Dan Deacon, never heard of him.
The kids
Jenny
down the
Slate, never
hall.
heard of him. Tim Minchin, I've heard of. He's a British cabaret artist. Very overrated. No, he's Australian, in fact, even worse.
God.
Apart from that, it's going to be a great festival. Basically, us and The Antwoord is going to be incredible, yeah. And Jack Black's incredible too. He'll be doing his Tenacious D thing.
Oh my God, that's
Hey,
fantastic.
we should get him to do something with us.
Yeah.
We met him in LA that time. What a lovely guy.
Frankie and Dan from The Darkness, Last of Our Kind is the name of the album. We're so excited to have you. I can't believe you came out here and met me. We're going to eat some vegetables, take some pictures, do weird things. Thanks for being here.
What is that thing?
I don't know, but I'm going to shove it so far into my mouth.
He rocked asses worldwide, and she's got one of the best asses worldwide. Nikki Sixx and Jen on the Sixth Sense.